In this country, we say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year and welcome to the stream. Elite Dangerous in 2026. I am just doing something on my phone, so I apologize in advance because I'm bouncing around the screens because I use my phone for the chat and for some reason it keeps on switching off the screen and I can't for the life of me remember which button I've set it under. No, that does none of this, is it? Okay, maybe it's on that one. Nope. Is it under battery? Can't be under battery because I've just looked there. Okay, think. 1 second, people. Nope, can't see it under that one. So where else could it be? I might just have to put up with it going in and out. Oh, hang on, am I not live on that stream? Yeah, I am, because I saw it jump up. Aye, okay. I'm just getting...
The Roman numeral
Oh,
1, 2,
sorry about that
and 3
one.
indicate that this is a
I don't even know where I am now.
B means it is a main sequence star. You can refuel off that.
Oh, that was that. That was that one. All right. Right. Okay. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I think this actually might all be to do with my phone and just how it's acting. Your channel. Now my phone at this very moment has just decided that it doesn't want to do anything, doesn't want to do what it's told, doesn't want to open anything. I have absolutely no idea why it's acting that way. Never had a problem like this on my phone whatsoever. So just give me a second. So it was that one. Yeah, I need to check this out. No, it's fine. It's fine. It must just be the YouTube app on the phone. The problem with the YouTube app on the phone is that it's not showing it the correct one, so I'm going to have to change it over now. Right. That looks good. Let's have a look. Right, hang on a moment. Joe Soap, why has your name changed? Good to see you, by the way. Fill me in on that. That's like gaudy Adam, but I immediately know normally by people's profile picture. I'll wait for some other people to come in if some other people want to come in. I'll keep that open for now. Oh yeah, was this when it did the name change? Were you just not like logged in? And then Facebook was doing something strange not so long ago as well. Facebook without, well, I hadn't used it for, oh god, why is the stream lagging? Because I hadn't used it for a while, they deleted all my videos. So that was something I was very upset about at the time, as you can imagine. Right, you'll have to apologise, because I have to apologise because I'm still looking around at a few bits and bobs, and I just need to make sure that things keep disconnecting, reconnecting, but it's saying the stream's okay. I'm guessing it's just maybe there's a lot of people using Elite today. Okay, so in this stream we're gonna put the Baron von Zoomski out into the black. I've been talking about this for years now, and it's never happened, but it is gonna happen today. My character will probably also go into the black for huge periods of time. I'll only come back to the bubble if something seriously big happens or if there's some serious change. And live streaming will also be the same as well. I'll talk about it a bit more as other people drop in. If other people drop in, actually, because I haven't streamed for so long, you never know when people have lives. And if not, I'll explain things a little bit further along about my future and what I'm planning on doing, because this channel is not what I want to do in the long run. And I've known that for a long time, and the channel didn't go the way that I wanted it to, and so I've been thinking on a couple of things for a while, and it's kind of coming together now, so I'm gonna go work on that. And then there's other things as well, like I've the last year I've been doing improv comedy down in Barcelona. I've been traveling down in Barcelona at the weekends and doing improv comedy, traveling down to one of the stand-up comedy places down there as well, and watching a lot of stand-up comedy, which is probably a lot of people don't realize it's an absolute love of my life. Like, it's probably the only thing where my brain is a bit of an encyclopedia, is about comedians. So it's just something I'm really, really passionate about. However, the last couple of weeks, I did actually find that Commander Throkazog, if I'm pronouncing that correct, has created the Baron von Zoomski Memorial Hub in the HIP 83944 system. HIP 83944. And this is good because it was something I'd actually come back to Elite to try and do. I'm not sure who that commander is. I am kind of lightly in touch with some of Zoomski's people over on his Discord, but it doesn't seem to be getting used anymore, and this commander doesn't look like they've been logged in for a few months either. It looks like maybe they came in and did it and then has kind of left it. Maybe they're not actually playing Elite, they just came in to literally give him the Memorial Hub. So all of my ships are going to be left here. You can actually see shipyard, well, it says one stored ship, but in actuality you can see that the Diamondback is the sword ship, or it's, oh no, there's actually, it's telling lies anyway. There's two ships stored here. Cobra's on its way, Ineffectual Taxi, Speedy Gonzalez, Ineffectual Sar, Mimu is not coming, that's going out into the black with me. Darth Vader's coming here. The Panther Clipper is going out into the black with me as well, although I think it's an incredibly huge waste of money to pass tritium fast. But it's the only way. And I've got enough money. I've got 2.1 billion in my own personal account, and I've got 16 billion in the carrier account. So I'm just wondering if that's gone up a little bit. No. I'm really annoyed with myself because I'm sending the carrier out into the black tonight, and if you look at my bartender, I'm selling all this really good stuff which you need for upgrading. I've got like all of this data that I'm selling, a ton of weapon schematics. I've got a little bit of I've got weapon schematics, suit schematics, selling them. And I was like, the last few days I've been thinking, Oh, there you go. Well, it's better than nothing, Joe. Glad you managed it though. So I was selling all this good stuff, and I've been sat here for the last 3 or 4 days thinking, why isn't it shifting? And it was because I locked it out to friends on my list and didn't realise. So, so I don't know if I'm going to sell this stuff or it's going to actually end up coming out into the black with me. I'll probably leave it on sale in case somebody with a Caspian wants to come out and get some of these things. So I'll leave them on sale for a couple of weeks, and if they don't shift, I'll just transfer them over and dump them, because I want everything empty for my own head. I don't want this stuff. I don't need it anymore. I might do in the future, but I can always do missions then if I needed to anyway. So I'm going to move over to the fleet carrier. I've got a find that my notoriety's gone, so I'm not sure if they've got interstellar factors here though. No, they haven't. I don't know if I should just nip over to somewhere where they have interstellar factors. I think I will, you know, because it's not going to make much of a difference. Maybe 1 minute or so, and I'll get these finds cleared off. Let's have a look. So, search nearest. Interstellar factors. There should be one really, really close. And if I take this ship, it'll be all right. Well, let's go for that one. It's not gonna go to Jenna Gateway. So yeah, I just think Elite's come a long way. I've been doing a few things this month on my own time and collecting a few bits of bobs, selling a few bits of bobs, and I've kind of been having fun doing it. So let's check that one. The only one I haven't got is the mining ship and the prospector, because I don't think it's gone live yet. But I'm going to be honest with you, I don't want to wait around. I'll just make sure it hasn't just been released or something. But I don't think it has. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. It went for Axe, but then this is like months ago and it hasn't been released, so I didn't get it. I waited for this one, there's a bit of Star Wars going on. He's probably come for me, to be honest with you. He probably came for me. So I got the Caspian. I paid real world cash for that just because, you know, it's my type of ship, and I didn't want to wait until the new year for it to come out. So hey, let's go. How's it going? I've noticed that there's a lot more people making content for Elite these days, which is good. Some of it's a bit hacky, I'm going to be honest. But there's also a couple of people who've been making some nice videos, and one commander who I followed for a while, who's very like low key. He came back and started making videos again. So that's good. So yeah, I could have kind of made an excuse and said, "Oh, I'm going to wait for the Type 11 Prospector," but what I can do, I'm trying not to think about it. But what I could do is I think I'm going to slow jump the 1 second. I'm going to slow jump the fleet carrier after the first few thousand light years, and I'm kind of going to go out towards Colonia way. And then what I think I'll do is I'll park the fleet carrier very close to Colonia, and maybe by the time I get there, this Type 11 will be available. But it's only for mining tritium. But I think they're going to give it some special ability, you know, like they have with the Caspian Explorer and whatnot. So I think it'll probably be worth having in the long run. I think it strips faster or something. So yeah, the whole bubble expansion thing is it's a very bold move by Frontier. And I think it is a good idea for a commander, for example, a commander who is very much playing on their own or whatever, and just want to eke out their own part, or carve out their own part. Carve out their own part of the greater bubble. When it first came around, I thought you'd be able to like build one anywhere, so I was kind of getting excited about doing it somewhere in deep space. But obviously, they haven't done that, and that's probably the best thing. But they're talking about now there's like bridges starting to go towards Colonia, which is quite interesting. I'll probably see a few places on my travels, and it does look like the feelers are kind of going out from the bubble quite rapidly. I have come along, and this is the only thing, I've come along quite a lot of unfinished systems, which isn't really very good for the game, I don't think, but it is what it is. Right, so I'll just get this, I'll get these paid off, and then I'll talk about the last, I don't know the last time I streamed, it must have been eight or 9 months ago, and what my kind of plans for the future are. Whoa, my alarm's going off. Whoop. I just need to delete that alarm. I actually have no idea why it goes off at this time. I set it for something and then never ever used it again. Yes, you don't know, not the bar services. You have to open up the exobiology part. So you need to take it to a fleet carrier installation system, and then you can request the Vista Genomics part to it. I'll actually show you mine when I go back now, because I was talking to Alexgar about it. I was really lucky to get possibly my favourite ever NPC added to my fleet carrier, and I hope to good lordy wardy they never mess up and mess this up, because I was really happy to get this character. So we'll go back to the Baron von Zoomski fleet carrier and I'll show you. So the bar services are only for selling like data, goods and stuff like that. So in theory on a long trip you don't really need the bar services enabled. But I keep it because I can afford it, number one. I think I've got enough money to keep the fleet carrier running for 11 years if I was to never make another penny. So, you know, I don't really need to worry about anything like that. So I keep the bar open. I have closed some of the other parts just because actually it was more to do with I couldn't understand why I couldn't hold much cargo, as in tritium. And then I realised that each part you have actually takes up weight on the ship and then eats into your ability to carry more tritium. So I knew, because I'm going deep space exploring, that I would need the access to the tritium. So I kind of stripped down to just the bar. Now the thing is that the one thing that's bothered me, and it's still bothering me, and again it's why I'm going to head towards Colonia in the first clip, is because the squadron carrier, I was aboard one the other day and it does everything that the fleet carrier does. You can sell stuff on it, people can land and fix their ships and whatnot if you have it as an option. And it has like some extra rooms and it just feels more like a ship. And the one I was on had lots of people milling around. I'm not sure if it was because it was in the bubble, because I have noticed my ship will have a few people milling around, but if you're outside of the bubble it suddenly empties out. They're obviously a lot more money, but oh, why did I pull out of that? 26 billion, I think. I would get 5 billion back off my current one, so I'd need to make another few billion before I can afford it, which is one of the reasons why I was going towards Colonia, because I would prefer the squadron carrier if possible. I have got the shipyard to keep my ships. I have got repairs, I have got refuel, I've got the bartender, and I've got Vista Genomics. And those are the main things that I need while I'm out there in the black. So now because I won't be streaming a lot in the future, I'll never say never, but I'm gonna put a link. I can find it. I'm gonna put a link in the chat. And I'm actually going to keep this updated. So this is the link to my commander on what's it called? Inara. And on Inara they have a one sec, let me just get into line. On Inara, they do have actually a section where you can do logs, logbook, gallery, biography, personal notes, both. I think they're open and closed, I think, if I remember rightly. So I think I'm actually going to have that as my as the main part of the information of what I'm doing. Oh, I hate it when Super Cruise does this because of the big planet. Oh, it's gone, hasn't it? Can we get it? Yay, we got it! Had to do a little bit of crazy fly in there, but I got it.
Welcome, Commander. Just so you know, Pegasus reading is in effect. Permission granted. A landing pad has been assigned to you, Commander. Clearance to land granted. Your computer will do the rest.
Also, I'm going to try and keep the fleet carrier updated on Inara and everything in between jumps and whatnot. As I said, like, I'll be filling it up with some information, but also the photographs and things. and then I was thinking maybe I'll do like a monthly video, so it might not be a live, it might actually be a video where I would have videos of certain things that I found, discovered, and whatnot. So let's go down into the carrier.
Contact confirmed. Clamps engaged. Happy to have you, Commander.
So, I think a lot of people probably, whether you're watching live or whether you watch back later, you're probably asking like, well, why don't you stream as much anymore? And it's a mixture of a lot of things. So I'm going to get into it in a moment. And then I'll talk a little bit about the future, and we'll start to jump the fleet carrier. We'll start looking at what we're going to jump to, and then I'll talk about the future as it kind of waits for its first jump. So if you come aboard my ship, I have a guard here, so don't mess around. They're actually there for your protection in case I go crazy on board. So I have the pilot's lounge open, but I closed... oh, I haven't closed down Pioneer supplies.
You in the market for a new weapon?
And
If
I
don't
should
have
have.
it, it's not worth having.
Don't know if I should... you know
All
what?
our skins are guaranteed brand new.
I'm going to leave
Take
it
a look.
open. Just in case anybody needs anything while I'm out in the black. None of this really costs me anything.
back when you're
But
ready.
that should have actually kind of been closed down. Oh, did I do it for consumables?
So, what you after?
Yes,
You can
that's
never
why I
have
have it
enough
open.
supplies.
I have it open for
You know where to
medkits
find
and
me.
energy links, consumables. That's why I didn't close it down. I was like, why didn't I close it down? But the buying ships has been suspended. Vista Genomics will be open, and this is why. Here is famous actor Christopher Waltz, although he's called Kareem. He is my Vista Genomics guy who has...
data to share with us? Well,
who
let's see what you've got for
he
us.
actually sounds like Christopher Waltz as well. So I was so happy that I got this guy.
Can I
I
help
do
you
need
with
to
anything
sack
else?
some of my other
Feel
people
free.
because I don't like them.
Not me right out.
I'm not sure whether I should ever do that on stream though, because people might think I'm being something I'm not. So I've left the bar open, but as you can see, there's a few people around, but not many people on board. Not many people in the bar itself. And when I was on one of the squadron fleet carriers, there seemed to be plenty of people around. So now, whether or not
Looking for a new
these
weapon?
Pioneer
Give me a
supplies
shout if you
run
have any
out,
questions. Always a good idea to
I
stock
don't
up.
know, but I'm supposing no, because
Come
I
back when you're
can't
ready.
see anywhere where you have to top them up. We need to change ships as well before I start jumping around and stuff, because I'll probably forget and end up going out in this one. So this ship's I called it the LGU, which is the name of my cat that died last year. He was jet black, nimble, and had big ears. So these kind of wings reminded me of his ears, and I just thought it was a bit fitting to give him something within the game as well. Seems I use it quite a lot. This ship is one of two exploration ships that I have. The other one is, of course, a Caspian Explorer. The Caspian Explorer is more about getting out there and getting to places fast to, like, pre-scout. And then I will probably come back in and in some cases get the LGU. In other cases, I won't have to if it's is it a non-tidally locked planet where it's very flat. So if it's very, very, very flat, then I can do it with the Caspian Explorer, which is called the Mimu, which is based after my other cat. She's very much alive, but she's getting elderly now. So yeah, the Caspian is named after her, and the Caspian will kind of be the forward scouting thing, and then the Elgia will be the one that goes down and gets certain things. Because I think trying to find Osseous, for example, and landing this thing would be, it'd just be a nightmare, absolute nightmare. So it's just not worth it. Yeah, I was just thinking about Pioneer Supplies there, but I don't think it shows up in this list. So yeah, I think it just automatically replenishes itself. I think it's like refuel and repair on your average ship. I also have universal cartographies as well for selling data. I normally save that up because I'm confident about not killing myself these days. So I normally save all of that data up and sell it when I'm in the bubble or when I arrive to a place, in order to quick rep with the local factions, because it's a really good way of very, very quickly working your way up with them. So this is my ships arriving, I'm supposing. Yep. Just check when the next ones are going to take, because of course they're all going to the memorial hub, so it doesn't matter if I jump or anything. But I just wanted to make sure they're all like arriving in sync now. Now I can't remember how many days it takes, but you can transfer ships. So if I get to Colonia, for example, and I need to do anything, then I can always have the Jesus shipped there. It costs a lot of money and whatnot, but again, money's not going to be an issue once I'm kind of out in the black. Just going to check my commander one time to see if any of these assets sold, because if they haven't, it's such. I could always sell them in Colonia, actually. Never even thought about that. What I'm going to do is go towards Colonia, like I said, and then maybe in a couple of months' time, it'll then go probably out to Beagle Point rather than coming inside. I'll probably go out to Beagle Point and then work my way around kind of 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, if you think about it, and then maybe bring it back into the centre. And then go out towards the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock range and kind of do that. That's I mean, that's long future. That's going to be a long time. I mean, I might never ever get there, because I'm not planning on doing anything fast. I'm planning on looking at certain areas of space, which reminds me, I need to make sure all of those things are correct with the carrier management. So just give me a second. I need to go into the settings and make sure that everybody can get in. All allowed. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so it is set up for people to land. I actually came across. I don't know if I can do this. Just give me a second while I try and work this out. I don't really like showing my desktop. Oh, I'm not logged in. Why is it not logged in? Logged in now. Right, okay. So just give me a second while I find this. It'll be under posts, I'm guessing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to share the screen, and this is something that I came across not so long ago, and it really made my day when I saw it. I'm just going to try and create, but I'm going to mess this all up now. Gone dark. Screen's gone dark. Cut my microphone off. So I need to work that out as well. So you're going to have to give me a second. What's it come under? Audio input captured. Right, I should be on now. Right, and then I need to do window capture device, I think. There we go. Alright, not too bad. Managed to do it. So, I don't know how I came across this. I think it was when I was searching for something to do with Zoomski. I was searching something like on Google or whatever, and it came up with a Reddit post, and I was like, oh, what's that about? So I went to have a look at it, and I came across it. Unfortunately, it was 2 years ago. Deleted user now. But the person's basically saying, Dear Baron von Zoomski, your fleet carrier saved my life. After an incident involving gravity and poor piloting, I was close to death and low on fuel. After expending almost all of my fuel on a desperate jump to find a fuel star, I came across your carrier. You saved my life and I'm in your debt. Godspeed, Commander. I was really chuffed to read that, because I'd specifically set my settings in the idea of just a lonely person comes across you, then you might be able to help them. Oh, I think my microphone's gone really loud now. Let me turn it down. So this really, it really made me smile when I read it, because I've not got any porn open. I'm only joking. It's all elite stuff. That's my porn. So it just made me feel really happy that even though I wasn't even at the computer at that point in time, that somebody had come across it and had helped somebody out. It's just a really, really good feeling, and it's nice to know. Right, so back to the regular stream, and we're going to have a look at jumping now, because I think I've given people enough time to come and buy stuff, and nobody bought anything, so I'll just keep it till I get to Colonia. So we're kind of looking for, right, let me get this correct. So it needs to be on realistic map mode. That's not the one I was thinking of. Has some of this changed? No, it wasn't power play. Why does this feel strange? Huh. Right, so we can see we can't actually see Colonia, but you see this place, Los and Tia, they always show up. So you kind of know which direction we're heading in. And I'm kind of going to push towards them a little bit. We'll zoom out, just make sure we're going in the right direction. We can probably do with going a little bit to the left, actually. Okay, yeah, that's probably good. And maybe just down a couple of, maybe 100 light years or something, just to allow us to so what's the distance on this one? It's only 1,000 light years, but so I'll go push for a bit further. Okay. I always like it when you get into a new name range. So there's this one, and there's a reason. Oh. No, it was. I think maybe you were doing. You were maybe doing your. You were maybe doing your name while I was talking about it. No, it's. Oh, I haven't got it in front of me now. Hang on. Let me just copy this name and then I'll have a quick look. Right. So if we go back out, go back to where we were. So it wasn't me that did it. I was actually planning on doing it over Christmas. Like I was, or at least in December, I was like, I'm going to do this. But I was looking for some information about Zoomski and looking at like some of his old videos and stuff. And then I noticed it popped up as an Inara link. But I saw it said Memorial Hub, and I was like, okay. So I came and had a look at it. And yeah, it's one of his friends has come along and done it. I'm just looking for the information because it normally tells you who created it or who the system architect is, but I'm so bad at this that I can't remember how to do any of this. No. Description. Hang on, I'll do it through. It's not as trustworthy through Inara because people have to fill in some of their own data, so it doesn't always have the command name. Right, Zoomski Memorial Hub. Okay. It's not on that one. Yeah, so I'm not going to say the name of the person, but there is a commander that created it. You can go and have a look at them. But it doesn't look like they've played since August, and I think they literally came in, built the system, and then kind of moved on, I think. Interesting name, interesting information. So you might want to have a look at it yourself on Inara. But in the sister architect, it said Ragnarok or something like that. Now I'm still connected to Zoomski's Discord, but nobody really goes on there anymore. One of his friends, Jester, pops in and says Merry Christmas and whatnot, but that's pretty much it. I think yeah, that's the thing. If I'd have known, I'd have helped. But I just don't know if they realised. I mean, I don't know if some of them realise there's even a memorial fleet carrier. So it's just one of those things. But I would have loved to have been involved. But you can see, like, it looks like the parts of the system aren't completely finished, and they haven't. I mean, a lot of these things, I don't think they've been finished for months. But yeah. So let me just have a quick look at Sponge, so we can start moving this thing along. Don't you dare say I didn't save it. Oh, you mother lover. It's saying I didn't save it. Oh yes, no it isn't. It's just my... Right, so there's not a direct one, that's fine, so we can go there. Right, and we are currently in HIP 83944. HIP 83944. That's fine. I don't actually know the jump range on this ship. Might be shorter than my Mandalay, actually. It's actually literally the same. 7. Actually, I think my Mandalay jumps shorter when it's full. The thing about the Caspian is obviously this, the neutron plotting and everything just makes it crazy good. Which reminds me, I've done the wrong 83944. So hang on a minute. 83944. Oh, HIP. Right, so I think we have to wait like 15 minutes before it'll jump the first one. Come on. 256. Alright, we'll go 0. I don't mind. So 79. Actually, I'll put it in this 78 just for that, and then we'll calculate it. We'll probably jump out ahead of it and meet it there because I can do 2 jumps. God, this web page is very slow today. But I don't know actually if it's me. Be me as well. Still thinking. Okay, there we go. Oh, so it's making us do 3 jumps. That's fine though. I actually need 2 route planners open as well. I need mine and I need one for the fleet carrier. Fleet carrier router. Because I actually set it up for mine there. I didn't actually set it up for the fleet carrier. So we're going to system 0. No, not that one, you defeat. B46 0. Okay. Oh, why is it doing that? It is 83944, isn't it? Yeah. If we can maybe type that in again. Well, I don't know why it's doing that. But it works. Okay, so it takes 2 jumps. No, 3 jumps. Wow, okay. Right. So let's get the first jump underway for it. So jumping 15.4 minutes, yeah. Okay, so the first jump I want to be on board, although I might actually go to the jump room. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the future of what I'm going to do away from Elite Dangerous and explain kind of why I wasn't streaming and stuff like that. Why I wasn't, why I haven't been. I swear to God, I'm losing my English. 14 minutes 30 seconds. Okay, so I need to go back quite a long way, and there's a couple of things that are all kind of feed into it. But when I started off this channel, Elite wasn't what I really wanted to stream. I wanted to stream gaming in general, which is why you remember the early days. I used to stream some games from my PlayStation. I used to do Trucking Simulator, Red Dead Redemption, Cyberpunk, like anything and everything, and even retro gaming. But as it kind of got along, I got stuck in the Elite pocket, let's say, but I didn't really. I could have done anything, but I just felt that whenever I was streaming even a different game, that it wasn't, I don't know, it just didn't feel like enough, and I wasn't enjoying the games necessarily as much because, you know, you're having to chat and you're having to kind of keep the stream going, so I wasn't really concentrating on the games either. So I remember there was a couple of games I played where I came back later thinking, I don't even remember what I did in that game last night. Thinking specifically Detroit Become Human, I was like, what decisions did I make last night? I just couldn't remember. And so I went back and watched the stream again. And then obviously Elite kind of started dying, you know, even after Odyssey came out. I mean, it really started dying. It felt like Frontier had given up on it and they weren't interested, and I just found it really, really difficult to think of any content. But I also noticed that because that was happening, kind of, I wasn't putting as much effort into it. And the thing that I tried to create in the very early days, if you remember when I had the stupid adverts and stuff like that, that creativity was really kind of going away. But this coincided with a time in my life that was really difficult as well. And I think the two of them together just kind of unfortunately made this bad mix of where I was feeling really, I'm a creative person at heart. I always have been. When I was at school, I was always in the school plays. I was always like class clown. So I've always like been this creative person who they just want to create and they want to do things that make them happy. And I really felt that wasn't happening. But it wasn't just because of Elite. There was like things in my personal life and whatnot. And I think this still is. I'm still not where I want to be mentally, but I've made certain changes the last 6-7 months, and I plan to keep those changes pushing forward in 2026, including going for my first walk of the year this weekend, because walking's something I kind of pulled back on as well, and that's just something I've always loved. So, you know, without putting a word on it, I was obviously not in a very good place, maybe a dark place. So the first thing I started working on was my alcohol consumption. So that's kind of come right down now. Now, I'll be openly honest and say the Christmas period, it wasn't. I've had a few good nights, but last night I didn't drink a drop of alcohol. And the last bit of alcohol I had was like 3 days ago now. But like the last time I got really drunk was on Christmas Day. So that feels much more under control these days than it was. I think I've mentioned it before. I left my job I was working in, and now I'm kind of self-employed, which brings its own really big problems, especially living in Spain. The system... what's the word? It's not the UK, and so it has very different laws and things about being self-employed, and they basically make it almost impossible, and they're constantly changing the laws to make it even harder. It seems like something you wouldn't do, but even under a socialist government, they're pushing harder laws on people. Because they want their money, basically, and they rely on self-employed people to basically pay for people who are not employed. and even pay for people who are employed because of the way the systems run here. But I do love living here, and I still love living here. I know that part hasn't changed. So, you know, everything's slowly but surely, you know, about working on myself and making sure that I'm doing the things that I want to do, and even pushing myself to do some of those things, because, you know, when you do feel down, or you do feel, let's say, black, you just don't want to do anything. You just want to sit and kind of get lost in other things, which actually comes to the future. So the last December, it would have been, like, literally the last time not the last time I streamed, because I think that was 9 months ago, but I think I did a New Year's Eve stream, and I came away from it and I was like, look, I really want to do something. I want to get... something's missing. And I looked at what my favourite hobbies were, which is one of my favourite hobbies has been stand-up comedy all my life. Bit of a, like I said before, I'm a bit of an encyclopedia and stuff when it comes to comedians. And obviously you'll know from being in the streams that I'm always like looking for the comedic side of things. So I started going to an improvisation... I can't even get my words out today. An improv group. I'll shorten it. And I went for 4 months and really enjoyed it. And then as the summer started arriving, I didn't go as much because Spain in the summer is really hot, and their studio gets really hot, and like kind of pulled away from it a bit. And they break up in the summer as well. So I didn't go as much, and kind of stopped going. But I've been to, there's a comedy club in Barcelona as well, like a stand-up comedy club. I've been to a few times, seen some really good stand-up comedians there, and actually seen people who were getting into it, which really kind of piqued my interest. And I was kind of looking at that for a while to see whether it was something I'd like to do, be it either doing it or just writing and selling what you write to other people. When I say selling, it's not really a true money-making thing. You sell stuff for a $5 or a $10. Punching up other people's jokes as well, adding tags to them and things to make them a little bit longer. And then I had to stop going there just because financially in September things got a little bit more difficult, and I'm having to be very, very careful with my finances now. And a trip to Barcelona every week it's not super expensive, but it's expensive enough. So the last 2 months I've been kind of thinking about ideas that I've had over the last three years or so, that I was kind of wanting to put into play, but I didn't know how I wanted to do it. Hi Malcolm, how's it going? Good to see you. I always miss you, just so you know, because I'm not being rude. If ever I see a message in-game, I will always say hi back. If you don't get hi back, it's because I didn't see the message. It's quite a lot of time I've been on foot, and when I'm on foot, you don't even see the message. And when you get back in the ship, it's not automatically highlighted. You have to go to the box. So just so you know. So there's been kind of this one idea which has been bouncing around my head. Actually, two ideas which have been bouncing around my head, and I've always wondered what do I do with this? And I kind of, about a month and a half ago, it must have been even longer actually. It must have been about 6 months ago. About a month and a half ago is when I started actually working on it. But it must have been a bit longer, where kind of I pulled these two ideas together and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to give this a go. Now, I'm going to... Depart the sister, okay. I'm going to explain that the next venture that I go on to, I don't expect anybody to follow me. I will, when everything goes live, I'll make a short video on this channel, and so you can at least have a look at it. But I don't expect anybody to be interested in what I'm doing. It's a very big leap from Elite. It's very different. It's well, I'll show you it. I'll show you in a moment what kind of a part of it, but it's not something I want you all to jump over onto, and don't feel you have to be supportive or anything like this. This is something I want to be organic, and I want it to do what it does. It doesn't have to be successful. This comes down to me being a creative person who needs to be creative. If I'm not being creative, it puts me in a mindset or a situation in my head where I feel like maybe like I'm being useless. And I've realised that one of the big problems about living in another country is that I don't have the deep friendships here that I had back in the UK. I have friends here, but again, they've got their own deep friendships. So whereas I have some friends here who I would consider very good friends, I don't really have any like truly deep friends apart from my friend who I live with. This has meant that I don't always get certain things off my chest that you could with friends. It also means that I'm always speaking with people who their level of English is low, and my Catalan is very low, so it's kind of this mixture of very simple speech sometimes, which means you don't get into the deeper conversations that you'd like to. So I feel that this is probably why I've been in this really kind of bad frame of mind for the last probably 4 or 5 years. I mean, you'll all remember the streams when I was getting blackout drunk and whatnot. Not to say I don't have fun, but I definitely think that, you know, this isn't me, it isn't the person I am, and I really wanted to make some changes to that. So I have been working on this new thing, and like I said, I don't expect anybody to enjoy it. I don't expect anybody to like it. I don't even expect anybody to follow me to it, because even right now, I'm just putting some final pieces in place before I try and take it live, probably in the next 2-3 months. And I still don't know if I'm going to be me when I'm doing it, whether it's going to be like me being me, or whether I will take on a character of some type. Like I said before, I'm very into stand-up comedy and stuff, so I know that all, you know, people get angry at stand-up comedians saying, oh, he said this, he said that. It's all comedy. You know, they don't truly believe these things. Well, some of them do, but the majority of them don't. They say something because it's funny. And a lot of them are playing characters. The person you see on TV is not the person you will ever see away from television. So, here we go. I'll come back to this. We are now departing for the Call 359 sector, and this is the von Zoomski's first ever jump into the black, and it will never be coming back to the bubble again. Oh god, this feels really weird to think that this ship's never ever going to come back to the bubble. I mean, I don't really intend to go back to the bubble unless it's for, you know, there's some event or something like that. So Godspeed the Baron von Zoomski. Oh, I know you are, Elskar. I know you are. I know you are. It's you know, people don't realise that myself and Ella's got a pretty good relationship away from the streaming stuff. I met him when I went to America. He was really, really good to myself and my housemate, and you know, we sometimes we don't speak to each other for a month or whatever, or a month or so, but we always end up chatting away again. Yeah, so I'm gonna give you a flavour of what I'm going to do in the future. It feels weird doing it because, like I said, I don't expect anybody to follow or anybody to become, you know, anybody to be follow it. I feel really weird showing this because it's not finished, and but I really wanted to kind of let everybody know that I was getting on with something else, which is why I've been away. So I'll give you a quick look at it, and you don't have to comment or anything, but it's just so you can understand that I've got something else coming up, and this is why I won't be doing Elite streams as much as I have been in the past. So roll the video, I suppose.
Faked our deaths, lit a match, closed the door, waited for the flash. Greyhound station, paid in cash. It's Lazarus, we're coming back. They say it's darkest before the dawn. We've been in this town for far too long. They say it's darkest before the dawn. We're moving on, we're moving on, we're moving on. Sunset, no regrets. First chance, last stand, stuck in the middle, even that girl's no good love. You taste so sweet, it hurts a little. Make our home where we stand. One suitcase and half a plan. Follow the wolves and sing along. Pass the voices to the song. They say it's darkest before the dawn. We've been in this town for far too long. They say it's darkest before the dawn. We're moving on, we're moving on, moving on. Sunset, no regrets. First chance, last stand, stuck in the middle, even that girl's no good love.
Okay, so I know there was a couple of sound issues there, and I know what it was, but I didn't realise before because I didn't think about it. So yeah, this is just kind of this new thing I'm working on. It's all going to be based around the 80s, and but it's going to be very, very different from what I've done before. Very, very different. Whoops! I'm trying to go back to live. No, I can't find it. There we go. Okay. Right, so that's first jump down. So what does that mean for what does that mean for Elite? And as I said before that I'm not I'm not stopping Elite. I'm just probably not going to have time to stream. So I'll have that in our page that I linked earlier. In fact, I might pin that. No, didn't want to do that one. I don't know how to pin it. Oh Christ, my phone's falling over. There we go. So it should be pinned at the top now. That'll be the Inara page. The Inara page will get kept up to date with my logs as I'm doing certain things. I wish I hadn't said it that way, but I've said it now. And I will do periodically, I'll do like an Elite catch-up stream to explain a few things that I found, maybe show a few videos. And Buck Rogers was late 70s, Malcolm. I may expand it eventually, because if you'll have noticed, I used a shot from Star Wars, which was pre-80s, but it's just one of those things where, you know, it as an 80s child, it is. But there's a lot of movies like that that cross over. So, like I said, the channel's going to be very, 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 very different. I'm not going to explain what it is. It'll go live one day, and I've said if people want to check it out, but don't, and this is the serious part of me now, don't feel the need to like and subscribe and stuff like that. The YouTube algorithm does not care about that stuff anyway. So, and I've said I'd rather it organically do what it's going to do. So, you know, if the first video I do, anybody wants to watch it, feel free to, I'll, you know, obviously I will link it on this channel, and you can come in and have a look. But if you don't like it, it's totally understandable. It's not, it wouldn't be something I get upset about or anything like that with anybody. Because as I said, this is about me and the creative part of me doing what it feels it needs to do. And so, as I said, when that channel and that thing goes live, because it's not just about a channel, it's about other things as well. But when it goes live, I just want it to be organic, and I want to kind of do it just in the way I'm doing it. So I might end up being a character. I'm still working on that part at the moment. It's just so you know, that was like shots of movies, but it's also going to be about music. It's going to be about there might be like a little bit about the toys of the time and the toys of the era and whatnot. And so, I'm just getting my thoughts together while trying to do two things here, and this never works when I try and do this. So let me see, if we've done that jump, that's the next one. So I might as well just set that in the ship. We can do the jet cone boost as well. 7 jumps? How can it be 7 jumps from here when we're using jet cone boosts? Oh, because you don't have jet cone here. Hang on. Can we... GK and non-sequence stars. We can use white dwarfs as well, can't we? I think. No, it's still 7 jumps. Oh well. It's not going to hurt me to do these jumps anyway, so... And I was thinking the other day that I'm not going to get bored of Elite anytime soon. It's just that the streaming part has become a little bit too much for me, and I don't get as excited about it before as before. So one of the things I like about this new project is it's made me, you know, get back to my roots, and I've been writing a lot for it. Like I said, I don't know exactly how it's going to be presented yet, so I'm kind of working on that as well.
You're clear. Feel free to accelerate.
And I wanted to get it up for the beginning of the year, but it's just not gonna happen. So I'll just you know, I don't want to rush it. It's like I said, this when you're like a creative person, having people or someone like look at it and enjoy it, what you create, is nice, but the creative process is just as important. Like the whole process of going through it is just as important. The research, the writing, and then the performing of it, it's all, and going away afterwards as well and looking at it objectively as you can, as objectively as you can look at your own stuff, trying to pick up where you went wrong, what you did really well, what maybe you did something off the cuff and it's, you know, it's gone down really well. So yeah. Anyway, I'll stop talking about that now. But yeah, that whole just creative process, I needed it back. When I was doing the comedy improv in Barcelona, so many people who attended, and it was different people almost every week. So many people who attended were saying to me like how they felt really comfortable doing the different things with me, and how they were able to bounce ideas and how I would take their ideas and run with them as well. And it just something I haven't really experienced for a long time, since I was kind of in theatre and stuff. So I really feel like this is something that I want to be doing. So anyway, yeah, let's stop talking about that anyway, because I just feel like I'm tooting my own horn and filling time. But it was fun. It was really fun. The improv comedy. Really enjoyed it. I haven't done that since forever. So, you know, I really hope... So my thoughts for Elite for the future is that they really do need to work a little bit more on the exploration side. I think they definitely need to create some more plants. This new one, the I can't remember its name. was interesting, and I took part in it. Didn't really need to, but I did, just because it was to do with kind of exobiology, and I enjoyed it. But it kind of made me go back to the fact that we need that constant upgrade, and I really hope that Frontier understand that. I've got my own personal fears for the future because of the management change around and stuff, but everybody deserves a chance, and you just have to see how it goes. But I think there's space for a lot more organics on very different types of planets and whatnot. I don't necessarily need to have aliens running around like they do in No Man's Sky. I would have liked it a while back. I was saying if you remember, because I used to moan about it a lot, when Elite was kind of at its highest point, I was saying they need to do a code upgrade, because I was like, this is the time when they've got the most money, it's at its most popular, and if they work on this code upgrade, then the game will be new and improved, and it'll stop it taking that dip. And they kind of did with Odyssey, but when I look at Odyssey, I'm sometimes like, did it really add? For the Odyssey loop, it's good, right? So when you're first doing the Odyssey loop, it's actually horrible at the very beginning, right? Grade 1, Grade 2 suits and whatnot, horrible. But once you get to that Grade 3 suit, in the Maverick in particular, and you start really kind of being able to take on those settlements yourself, it gets really good. But then, of course, when you have the best equipment and you're able to clear them very easily, it's nullified by the fact that you're Grade 5 and you don't need anything anymore. And that's quite often how Elite feels. It feels like there's that progressionary thing, but there's nothing that goes at the top. And I absolutely believe that Frontier are so scared of spending time on that, because it could cost them time, money, and they may lose players in between. But I really don't think that they can just keep releasing new skins. It's not the answer. They don't allow it in the one I was going to, because it's open, and it's open, and it's kind of like what they call a safe space to practice in. It wasn't on stage, it was all just practicing and doing classes about it. It wasn't actually anything like on the stage. Although I wouldn't have had any problem doing it, because I just really, really enjoyed it. It really, really good. I mean, to put it into perspective, the class was 2 hours. I would travel 2.5 hours there, 2.5 hours back on a Sunday. So I was travelling 5 hours to do a 2-hour class. Like, I didn't care. I just didn't care, because it was just it was so much fun. 1 second, I don't know if I need to go to this one. Oh, well, actually, do you know what? I'll just set a pure course, because I want to do something actually once I get into this sector and see whether I can find anything. Oh. I'm only 2 jumps away. Wow. Okay. Didn't realise I was that close, but there we go. Okay, this is good, because this lets me start on something that I've been looking at. So we will have a... This is a binary system. Yep, binary stars. Oh, I love those coronal mass ejections. I think as well, like I'll always sign off with where the carrier is or where it's going to when I do like these monthly or however often it is updates on the Elite part of it, because one of the things that I have noticed is that with not streaming is I've kind of been enjoying playing the game again, because I'm not having to. When you are playing it while streaming, you are thinking about it, but your attention's on two things at once. And so sometimes it's easy to make. I was watching one streamer the other night. I know Elazgar was watching it as well. And I was getting annoyed because the streamer was kind of like just talking and not doing anything like in general, and saying they couldn't do something, and I'm looking at it going, why can't you do it? Why can't you do it? But I don't know if I joined the stream quite late, so I don't know if they were doing like character stuff where they can't get into trouble or something like that. I don't know, because I've quite happily picked up a few bounties. But it's funny you should say that about filming the improv, LS guys, because that's why I'm wondering whether this new thing I'm going to do as a character, because it could be interesting as a character. I've been watching a lot of 80s movies, a lot, and I'm not talking about Rambo, RoboCop, Ghostbusters. I'm talking about like 80s movies. Trancers I watched the other night, which I thought was great. I don't know if anybody remembers Trancers. Oh craps, I haven't even got the list of stuff that I've got, because I've still got to watch other stuff. But what was that one as well? A really good one with what's his name? Not Kirk. No, not Kirk Douglas. Oh god, it's going to drive me crazy, this. Hang on. I'm going to search his name up because I know of another movie he's in, and then I'll find the name of that one. It is Kirk somebody, isn't it? Kurt, not Kirk. One with Kirk Russell, where they're kind of in, I think they're in Arizona or something. And a trucker pulls over and gives his wife, their car breaks down, and the trucker pulls over and gives his wife a lift to the next town. And anyway, when Kurt Russell arrives to the next town, his wife isn't there. So, like, it's this whole, it's, I've forgotten the blooming name of it. I'm just trying to find it now. Because, you know, Kurt Russell's like famous for The Thing, Escape from LA, Escape from New York. More recently, like The Hateful 12, which was really good as well. I think it was The Hateful 12 or The Hateful 8. I can't remember now. Yeah, I'm gonna go down. Unfortunately, I don't know why this is in Spanish. Well, I do because I'm in Spain. I'm just gonna change it into English. Oh, it's not gonna do it. So would it be ESEN or the other way around? Okay, so at least we've got it into English. Right, let's do Kurt Russell. Scanners, yeah, that was another one that I actually watched that about 3 or 4 months ago. Oh, why is it doing all this in Spanish? Let me just customize something. Ah, okay, I've seen it now. Okay. I just have to do a little button switch. Okay. Oh, I've done something with my cookies on my... He's been in 111 movies. He's been in some stinkers as well, to be fair. But he has been in like so many. I need to go all the way back to like... And I didn't realise like he was in stuff in the 60s. Well, I did actually, because I knew... I knew he was in a cowboy show. I've forgotten the name of the cowboy show he was in. Daniel Boone or something? No, Gunsmoke. I don't remember. Something like that anyway. Where are we? 80s, right. So yeah, like he did The Thing, Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China. So these are all like Tango and Cash, Backdraft. I can't find this one movie. Why is it not showing? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, it could be that. No, it's not that one. Oh, no, that's 1992. It's not that one. It's not that one either. Hang on. You know when you sometimes get an actor mixed up, but I normally don't. I'm gonna use AI for this one. Oh, this is out of whack, that's why, I think. No, it can't be. It couldn't be, because it was an 80s... Oh, no, it wasn't an 80s movie. Okay, right, the movie's called Breakdown, anyway. It's a 90s movie, 97, I think. And I recommend that if you haven't seen it. The reason I'm mixing up with 80s movies is because it was a day when I was watching a few. I bet you've mixed them up with Patrick Swayze. No, I know my actors because I know their faces and I remember them from movies. But I was like, well, why is he not showing up in the 80s? It's because it was 1997. The reason is I wanted a break from the 80s movies, I've just realised. And I was looking at a list of thrillers, like the most underrated thrillers. And it was one of them. There's another one with Michael Keaton, Pacific Heights, which I really want to watch because I actually think Michael Keaton's a really good actor. He kind of has the same personality no matter what he does. But I really do think he's a good actor. A lot of people don't know that he... A lot of people don't know that he was a stand-up comedian originally, and a very good stand-up comedian, which is why he's been able to do like comedic characters. One of his best, like for me, funny characters was in an episode of Frasier. He plays Frasier's ex-wife's brother, who's like a con artist, and he's absolutely brilliant in it. Absolutely brilliant. Right. So yeah, Breakdown. That's the one. So, and yeah, it's funny you should say that about Patrick Swayze because one of the movies that I've actually gone back and watched was was Dirty Dancing, which I've never liked because I was always like, it's a chick flick, don't like chick flicks, blah 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 blah. And but I'm trying to watch. Oh, crap! I'm trying to watch all of these movies sincerely. Okay, so what I mean by that is I'm trying to watch all of these movies without the judgment that I would have had before. No, that's miles away. We're not going there. We can go here. That's close enough. Right, I'll have to copy that one. 6 jumps. Okay, well, we can do this one while I talk. So, obviously, you've got your loves, your hates, and everything like that. Well, because of the project I'm trying to do, I can't take those personal feelings into it. You'll understand if you actually see it when it's done, because it's not about my personal feelings about the movie. I have to be as objective as I can. So I've had to go back and watch movies like Dirty Dancing, and I actually really enjoyed it. Especially the final part, like it's so good, really is. And you actually, if you actually watch it, Patrick Swayze's acting's actually really good. Kind of the best actor in the whole movie. But I've always looked at it as a smushy romance thing, and it really isn't. It goes a bit deeper than that. What, Dirty Dancing, Joe? Really? Are you being facetious? But I'm trying to do that with a lot of things in general. It's actually one of the things I'm trying to introduce into my life, is to be a lot more objective. Oh, sorry. I thought it was hidden by one of the things on the phone. I didn't realise he said wife's favourite movie. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Because it was marketed as a chick flick, but it's got a much deeper storyline going on there, and it's a really good movie. The music's pretty cool as well. Did you watch it just the once though? Oh, I'm really tempted to have a quick look at my. Oh, where is it? I think I've deleted a load of the movies that I'd actually watched. Caddyshack, went back and watched Caddyshack. Haven't watched Caddyshack since I was a child. I think through my parents as well. I don't think I was watching it. Absolutely fell in love with Rodney Dangerfield. Watched a lot of his stand-up comedy. Absolutely love the guy. He was completely and utterly off his nut, but that's what made him good. His stand-up was kind of done in an old way. Back in the 80s, it wouldn't have actually been that old, but he was a really good comedian. Really good comedian. What else was I watching? Alien Nation, which was by the same man who wrote V, if you remember V, this TV series. What else? Last Starfighter, I watched the other day, which was really good. Very cheesy, but purposely cheesy. Something which probably went over my head when I was younger. And then, actually, because if I think Last Starfighter is cheesy, the Battle Beyond the Stars, which was one studio's attempt to cash in on Star Wars, and it is just it's a horrible movie, but it's horrible that it's good. And like I said, I'm trying to watch them all objectively, so even though some are difficult at the beginning to get, like, because you think, oh, this is terrible, but then you start thinking about how actors are very serious at what they do, directors are very serious at what they do. So I think sometimes our own feelings about a movie or about any art is that we're always judging it based on what our likes and needs are, not the likes, needs and wants of the person who actually made it. So I think that's kind of opened my eyes a lot to sticking with stuff. I'd only watch Dirty Dancing if I'm hooked up to testosterone IV drip. Yeah, makes sense. No, you couldn't. If you're out at one of those campsites and somebody hears time of my life blasting at night, they might shoot you. So yeah, Alienation was really good though. It was kind of remade recently. Kind of a version of it was remade. And again, actually a really good movie, but you have to go with it a little bit. But it was a very recent movie called Bright, and sadly it had Will Smith in it, who I don't respect as an actor or as a person, because of how he is. But you know, this goes back to a lot of things from the 80s, is that there is going to be like things that I cover where those people have since been discovered to not be very good people, but I'm kind of, my attitude is I'm looking at the art, not the person, because there's a difference. If the crimes are like too heinous, I wouldn't be able to bring myself to like to necessarily look at certain things. But I just think that, again, so many people have worked on a film or a piece of music or whatever. It's not just the artist who's on the label, and it's something you just have to sometimes say, yeah, the person's despicable, but the art itself is good if it's good. So yeah, this one Bright was really, really good. It had I've forgotten the Australian actor's name now, but it's got this really good Australian actor in it, and it was very similar to Alien Nation. I'd love to see if they were sued for it, because they basically swapped aliens out for fairies, but almost everything else was exactly the same. I think I'd have a bad attitude if I had his missus. Yeah, like I said, it's strange because it didn't get a lot of hoo-ha, and I actually thought it was very, very good. But I do think like it was literally, they stole the story from Alien Nation. If you haven't seen Alien Nation, I recommend it. It's aged quite well, and it's got James Caan. And I forget the guy's name. He's in one of those crime shows. Oh fuckity fuck! I've forgotten his name. I'm better with faces than names. Come on. But yeah, I fell across Bright. It was through a recommendation, which I find myself doing more now than searching through IMDb and stuff. Is actually going on other people's recommendations. Ooh, Stratum. Okay, are these? I think these have got first footfall. I'm not going to go through any systems. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in here as well. Well, I picked this system kind of randomly because it was in the area, and I've immediately found bacteria. So I've been playing around with a few things and a few theories, and I've not been able to put them into practice until I've come back out, and now I'm like, Terrence. No, I'm not thinking of Terrence Stamp. Oh, I might be. Hang on. I really like Terrence Stamp, actually. Not just because he was Zod. He was in a couple of movies where he wasn't the main character, and I always liked him. I liked him in The Adjustment Bureau. That's a very underrated movie, The Adjustment Bureau. It's based on a Philip K. Dick story. You short story. Terence Stamp. Might have been. So yeah, no, okay, so you were very close, Joe. Terence Stamp plays the bad guy, of course, because he's Terence Stamp. So he plays the bad guy alien, but the good guy alien, who is like the sidekick to the Will Smith character, was played by Mandy Patinkin, who I think he was in one of these really famous something mines on TV. Anyway, I think it was something like that. One of these crime shows, I think it was. And he's been in a few things. He's kind of a solid number 2. But he was really good in Alien Nation. Really, really good. I think he was in The Princess Bride as well. I think that's where he always sticks out of in my head from. He was in Dick Tracy, but he wore so much makeup you couldn't really tell it was him. He does in Alien Nation as well, actually. But oh, I needed to flag one of those planets because they had biologicals on them, so I just need to tag it to check it. But I'm supposing, because I'm very close to the bubble still, I'm supposing that these have already been first footfalled. Oh really? They actually had Alien Nation as a TV show as well. As far as I remember, I don't think my memory's that bad, but I'm pretty sure they did, and it failed. Like, it didn't do as well because it didn't have as much investment, I think. But I can't remember if I started watching Defiance. I mean, that whole cop mixed with a person who he doesn't like, it's very overly used trope. Very overused trope. That game I was playing, Detroit Become Human, where you have that kind of chemistry with somebody, that is actually a TV show as well, but I don't remember its name because it was terrible. It was made in Canada. It wasn't a Canadian TV show, it was an American one, but it was made in Canada. And I tried watching 3 or 4 episodes, and you know when something just hasn't aged well at all. Right, so there's already first footfall. I knew there would be, but I'm kind of just waiting for has the fleet carrier done its next jump? Because if it has, I can jump it onto the next one. Blade Runner's a good one. I watched that so many times though, Ellis Garley. It's one of the films I try to stay away from at the moment because I've watched it so much. I'm actually a really big fan of any Ridley Scott movie in general. Right, so it's that one next. I'm a really big fan of his anyway. Oh, it's going to be a short jump and a short cooldown anyway for that one. Didn't even 16 minutes? Doesn't make sense. Right, on to the next one then. So we're D13O. Right, okay, D13O. So we'll copy that one. D13O. So let's see if we can get a D13O. Ah! I hate this thing. I really do. I hate it with a passion. D13O. So it would be that one next. I'm going to try this one next. So it's one jump. One jump. I was trying to think. Cherry 2000. Oh my god. That was one I remember seeing the box in the video shop when I was a kid. You remember those days? I was trying to explain it to one of my students a while ago. I was like, these kids have been robbed of childhood, like sitting on tablets and stuff. There's always time for computer games and tablets. There's always time for them, but I feel... Oh, okay, so this is a dead one. I don't expect everyone to be a success. But geez Louise, these kids have been robbed of their childhood. Like, so I remember Cherry 2000 from the video shop. I remember seeing it. And it wasn't my type of thing. Well, I went back and watched it and it was actually alright. So, if we do that, it goes there. Then it goes to the one we're in. Okay, and now we need it to go to the next one. So it would be there. I should have probably just tagged some of these. Yeah, I don't know if it's a server thing to stop cheating, but I think they can really, now with the Caspian Explorer, they should really look at adjusting all of those numbers because they're just wrong. Trances, that was actually, so I'm gonna say Trances is a complete, so Ellisgar, it's one you should look at. Trances is a complete and utter rip-off of Blade Runner on a budget, and you can tell because the ending isn't the best. Oh, another one body. Okay, I think I got lucky with the first I know why. Okay, let's start again. So, shall I jump? Right. So, we're going to make some changes here. And we're going to try C. And we're going to try C again. And see what we get. So, if that one exists... No. I absolutely hate this game. Like, the way that all these things work, it's crazy. Right, okay, C. Okay, so we'll start at C10. Now, this is a bit of a jump away. But... Oh, there's 15 jumps? Really? Oh, no, I'm going to have to move forward a little bit, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to do some jumps here, because I'm trying to like put into play a part of... hang on a second. A part of what I'm trying to do. No, we don't even want to go there, do we? Because we're not moving right. Okay. Right, so that's not even what I want to do either. Come on, Swifty. Right, okay. Right. So let's go forward a little bit. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Right, and then we're going to find... I'm going to take a copy of that. So just give me a second while I put this in my fleet carrier jumper. Just need to take that out. The destination system. It's that one. Don't know why they've changed that part. Okay. Right, let's see if it does it. It does, so that's okay. Right. It's only a few jumps, but it's enough for me to be getting on with and having a quick look at things. Hello, sweetheart. You all right? There's a couple of parts of the game that are kind of... They're not made to be done on computer. You had to stand up to... Yeah, I do remember that. I don't think the kids would benefit from that these days. I used to get sent to the shop for a pint of milk and was told that I had to be careful that Margaret Thatcher didn't nick it. And I didn't know who she was, so I went to the shop assuming that there was a girl going to try and jump me. So I lived in fear for years of that. I'm going to fast jump 4 or 5 and then I'm going to start actually stopping and having a little bit of a look around. But generally you get plotted on a straight line normally, or it tries to plot you on as straight a line as it can. So you tend to be coming across systems that other commanders have been. It's not until you really slow it down. One of my go-to films from the 80s that I personally love, apart from Ghostbusters, is like the Thing from when I was a kid. And there's other things that I liked, but that has always been, it's something that stayed with me forever. But one of the actual movies that I've probably watched just as much, or as close to, was Stand By Me, because I felt very connected to the kids in that, because I grew up in a rural area and kind of went on adventures and things. So there was Stand By Me and Goonies, which have always stuck out in my head, because that's kind of how I was, a latchkey kid and everything. And kids just don't get that now. They don't get it at all, and it's because the parents are all scared. And I don't know what they're scared of. Is it they're scared because when they were a kid they put themselves in dangerous situations? I know I did, but how does somebody learn or lose fear if they don't get put in those situations? Yeah, you don't want anything to happen to your child, but you can't have them in a bubble, which is what I think a lot of kids have grown up with recently, which can't be good for your mentality. Can't be good for your mentality at all. I'm just going down the list of other ones. Crime Zone must have been terrible because I can't remember. Short Circuit, which is great movie. There is a documentary actually. You might like it, Joe. Rob, you might like it as well. It's called In Search of Tomorrow. If you haven't seen it, it's from 2020, 2022 maybe. Those COVID years have blown past too much, but it gives you a total history of science fiction, particularly space films as well. It's very, very good. Oh, and then there was a movie I watched the other day, a couple of weeks ago, with John Lithgow, called The Manhattan Project, and it's all about this young scientist kid who moves to a new area and befriends a scientist, and that was one of those movies where you're like, how did that slip through? Or maybe it just slipped through on me. Again, you're only looking at it from your own point of view, but it wasn't a big movie, but it was a bit like Matthew Broderick's War Games, or Daryl, if you remember a movie called Daryl as well. But that was a really good movie. I genuinely enjoyed it, and then I wanted to go back and watch one called The Philadelphia Experiment, which is loosely based on the real story in quotations. I only really want to watch that because it's got Lois from RoboCop in it. You say that, Rob, though, but that's Elazgar, sorry. You say that, but that's my point. You can't keep them bubble wrapped. And is life any more dangerous now than it was then? Really, truly. I mean, is it true? And I just don't know if it is. Especially, I mean, in inner city areas. So, of course, in England, there's a lot of knife crime in city areas. So, you know, I don't think it's as bad as the news makes out, because they make money from scaring you, but I'd feel very uncomfortable maybe if I lived in a city letting my kids out. But in rural areas, I live in a rural area in Spain, and kids don't go out until they're like in their teens. They don't go out, and the parents are paranoid about it. Right, I think I'm going to start stopping and looking around. Actually, I'll do it in this system. So SEO overdrive a little bit. Get away from the sun. Just makes it easier. And then we'll go and have a look. And it looks like I dropped in the worst system for that. But why do you say that? Because, you know, I just don't... Again, this comes down to how I've been the last few months. I've stopped reading the news. I'm tired. Like, I feel worn out by it. COVID kind of got us all watching the news more than we should, I think. And they love a good horror story. They also love bending the truth to sell that horror story. So, and yeah, you might be right about that. That we did look after each other a lot. You know, I used to have a gang. We'd go around and do loads of things. Thick as thieves we were, but like, and we got up to some bad things, some good things, kid stuff. I think the world's always been dangerous. I really do. I think there's always been weirdos, there's always been crazies, and they've always been there. I think we're so divided now, and we live our own separate lives, is that when I was a kid, you knew the crazy people in the town. You knew who to stay away from. But I think in modern day times, people don't get to know their neighbours, and everybody's kind of stuck in the house more, and they don't go out. So, like, the crazies you're not sure of, because they're doing it from the comfort of their living rooms on their phones. Yeah, I've often wondered, like, doing any type of policing, or even... My grandmother worked on a crash team, and it definitely affected her. Definitely affected her. She's never, like... I don't know. I remember before she worked on the crash team, she was always very, like, kind of bubbly and whatnot, and then afterwards kind of slipped a little bit. I think any of those jobs where on an average day you're experiencing everybody else's worst day. It's probably... But my worry is that when you protect kids the way we do, is that when they get older, they're ripe for being predated on by other people because they don't understand how the world works. I mean, you're seeing it now with social media, how half of social media doesn't even understand half the videos they're watching are AI. It's crazy how many people don't understand that they're watching an AI video. But it's also crazy that you don't know if those are real people or just bots interacting with each other, which, like I've said this before, this is why I've kind of pulled away from the internet. I don't know what's going on, but the fact that most of the websites now admit to using bots and whatnot, I'm kind of... I don't know what they're trying to do to people, because I think people are going insane. Again, we all used to just be like, we all liked our stuff, we all liked what we liked, maybe we're a bit freaky about it and whatnot, but now I think people just have too much access to stuff. There's like people, I said to you before, like I'm really into stand-up comedy, and there's a couple of stand-up comedy things that I read on Reddit and whatnot, and you know, the amount of people who they don't know it's an art form. They think that because a comedian says something, he absolutely or she absolutely believes what they're talking about. I find it very, very strange. Okay, so one biological icy body, it's probably nothing. I'm just going to check it because one of the things that I have said to myself when I'm out in the black is I will scan. I'll scan anything to make money. Apart from the 1 million credit bacteriums, or not bacteriums, what's the word? It's not bacterium. Fonticular. So fonticular and bacterium, if they're only the 1 million credit ones, I'm not going to go planet side to scan them. Well, I think that's the thing, is that I feel that people, there's a lot of people aching for real stuff, but they can't get it, or they don't know how to get it. Like I said, I think honestly, COVID just really messed the world up. It messed people up, specifically in the West, where more people were confined to their houses and stuff. I mean, I don't think you didn't really have it that bad in the US. The UK was pretty bad, but Spain was one of the hardest in Europe. Like, it was one of the places where the government just shut everything down for months. It wasn't a few weeks, it was months. And you know, it affected people a lot. And I've noticed, you know, you go shopping these days, nobody has time for anybody else. Before Christmas, it was horrible. I came home one day and I was saying to my flatmate, I was like, there's just no Christmas cheer in anybody. They're all just trying to get their Christmas dinners, the stuff for their Christmas dinners. Like, just nobody was being happy, or everybody was just fighting over stuff. It was so weird to experience, because, you know, in the UK, you know, you'd go about your shopping, maybe a bit selfishly, but you'd still be wishing everybody happy Christmas and stuff. Just didn't see it this year. Just felt like everybody was out for themselves. Wait, wrong button. Let's see what we've got. I'm expecting Fonticular, yeah. Let me load up my Elite Observatory and see what it might be, because I forgot to load that up. So let me have a quick look. Went back and watched Mannequin as well, maybe a month or so ago. I'd forgotten that it had forgotten his name now. Is it George somebody? 1 second, I'm just trying to find where I've put this observatory thing. I know it had Kim Cattrall in it before she was. I hated her in that Sex and the City. But it also had James Spader in it, who plays a total weirdo. And James Spader playing weirdos, I just love it. Never get bored of it. He's such a funny guy. And then the guy, George something or G.W. Bailey, that was his name. The bottle of Bailey's popped up in my vision. From Police Academy. He was like the bad guy of the 80s, and I hated him as a kid. Absolutely hated the guy. But a bit like Ric Flair from the WWF, or whatever they call it now. I hated him as well as a kid. Absolutely, like, with a passion. And then, as an adult, you're just like, they were just really good actors. And G.W. Bailey, I think I call him George Bailey because of It's a Wonderful Life, but it might stand for George. But G.W. Bailey, he was in Police Academy. He always seemed to play like the asshole authority figure. He was in Short Circuit as well, playing the same type of character. But he played it so well, and he just got. I think he's probably sad that he got typecast, because I know a lot of actors really don't like it when they get typecast, but I'm sure it gave him a bloody good living. Oh wow, this is a white planet. No, it's definitely not Stratum, but I'm not only on the lookout for Stratum anymore. It came up, that's why I've landed. It came up as and this is the 5.73 million one. So if it is that, which it doesn't look like it, but having said that, I haven't scanned this one forever, so I really don't know. Oh, it might be. It looks a bit different from the one I was thinking about. Now we have to get this bloody thing landed. This is possibly the worst ship for landing. It'll land first time now. But it really is. Whoops. Right, I need to know. Okay, it's on the left. So we've got first footfall. So this will make this worth about 25 million. Oh yeah, this is an expensive one because I don't remember scanning this one before, actually. It might be my first time I've ever scanned it. In the case of this one today, I'm going to stay in the ship, but actually in the future I'm actually going to take the... I'm going to take out the SRV to find stuff because I want the experience of everything. Like I said, I've got money to go for 11 years. Money is not what it's about. So, oh, what's the distance on this? 500 meters. All right, that's not even far for this. Gonna be a bloody... Ah, there we go. Found some blue. this isn't working, is it? It's saying I'm 158 meters away, but I'm not. I'm way further. See that? So I landed, and then it says unsuitable terrain as soon as you land. So you have to come up. It's saying I've reached over 500 meters. Of course I have, because I've gone upwards. You have to come up and come back down. It's obviously an issue with the landing gear, which they haven't fixed, and there's been a few updates since release, so I'm not sure if they're even going to bother. But if you go up a couple of 100 meters, come back down, it will land, rather than flying around looking for places to land. Because I think it's an issue with the landing gear. I think sometimes it, especially first time, always works second time, doesn't work first time. So yeah, I'm 800 meters. Not. And apart from movies, I've gone back and watched a few cartoons from the 80s. Watched the real Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mask, if you remember Mask. But I guess you had to be a kid. That was a weird one. Music. Listen to the entire Madonna discography. Listen to part of Michael Jackson's, but and then kind of a lot of stuff connected to soundtracks or whatnot. Because I've kind of always had this thing of soundtrack to your life type of thing. I don't mean like I love soundtracks because they take you back to the thing. So if it's a certain movie, that song will always take you back to it. It actually can. If the ground is too... So it's only when you're going back on though. But if the ground is too difficult for it to land on, you can't... It does actually hover and it transports you up. But that doesn't happen on landing. And I was just thinking that the other day, it's strange that you mention it, because it was this ship I was having trouble landing, and I was thinking, you should just be able to do what it does when it picks you up, because if it can do it when it picks you up, it can do it when you're in the bloody cockpit. So did we get our 3 scans now? Yeah, we have, haven't we? Okay. Right, onwards and upwards, on to the next one. And Madonna's discography is really good. Like, there's so many just absolutely cracking tunes. I mean, not everybody's cup of tea. Has anybody seen this new TV series, The War Between Land and Sea? I got the first episode, but I just haven't had time to sit down and watch it. I'm still catching up with The Expanse. Just finished season 5, so I'll be going into I think the last season now. Yeah, I have to be in the right mood for The Expanse though, because it's so good, but it's slow burn is not even the correct word for that show, but it is so good. No, nothing here worth doing. Well, how old is she? She must be 20 years on me, so she must be in her 60s. So I don't know whether we can really talk about how somebody looks when they get up to the 60s. I tell you what though, she was beautiful back in the day. Yeah, she's 67. I think, like, I do think, like, she needs to stop chasing her youth, but having said that, she was always like that. She's one of those people where it doesn't surprise you because it's not out of her character. The Expanse? Yeah. I mean, personally, I've really enjoyed Andor, but that had a couple of episodes that were really slow burns as well. But I think when I watch Andor, I'm like, it really is an amazing sci-fi show. Don't tell me the ending because I haven't seen it. Was it a rush? I think it might have been a rushed ending, you know. That's your country, Rob. Then they don't. Elazgar, sorry, I keep using your open name. You don't. Your TV companies don't give a full series because you have the mid thing where they judge and then cancel or keep something going. So everything's written without an ending and squeezed for as many episodes as it can. You see, in the UK and in Europe, they're sanctioned. In the UK, it's 6 episodes. I think in Spain, it's 4 and 8, if I remember rightly. So you get sanctioned the episodes, and then you create a start, a middle, and an end. And then you kind of leave the endings with a slight cliffhanger, but it can be open to interpretation of what happens. And I just think the UK in particular, because that's my experience, we do a far better job of rounding shows off. Just a way better job of it. It's actually, I think, when I think about all my favourite TV shows from the US, they've all had terrible endings because they've kind of just been left to rot. I'm thinking Deadwood completely messed up the ending of that. That was back when HBO didn't even know what they were looking at in terms of quality. So the show got cancelled, but it was actually super popular. But because of the Nielsen company or something, they cancelled it, not realising that it had a huge audience. There was another programme that got cancelled on HBO the same type of way. Mindhunter, which Netflix cancelled, which was absolutely brilliant. It's always the good shows that get cancelled as well, you know, like, and then there'll be some, trying to think of one, like Lost, that has like 55,000 seasons and no ending. Let's see how many were in this system. Oh, 3. That's, oh no, there's one sun, so there will be 2 planets, I think. Nope. Okay, let's move on. Oh, it's a really good comedy as well, which is actually a John Hughes comedy called Career Opportunities, which technically isn't an 80s movie, it's a 90s movie. I've never actually been a fan of Doctor Who. Never. And funnily enough, I think I've told this story before, but when I lived in Leeds, I met Christopher Eccleston, who was one of the doctors. I met him in W.H. Smith, which is like a magazine shop, and I was staring at him because I thought I'd worked with him. And eventually, I said to him, like, because he looked at me and he smiled, and I said, "I'm sorry to stare, but I'm like, I know you from somewhere." And he went, "Yeah, you probably do." And I was like, "Have I worked with you or something?" And he went, "No, I don't think I've ever worked with you." And And then he kind of just walked off. And when it eventually clicked, like ages later, I think it was like a year or so later, I was watching 28 Days Later. And I realised it was him. And I was thinking, he must have got a real chuckle out of that, because he just said to me, "No, I don't think you've worked with me," and walked away. But not in an arsehole way. Like, it was... I was like, that must be the good... that must be the good thing about being famous, when somebody actually doesn't realise. Actually, it's alright, it's not a spoiler, because that isn't what it was. The writer of Lost recently, or semi-recently, did an interview and said they weren't in purgatory. He says he doesn't know where the idea came from. He said it just took wind and they let it run with it, but he says they're not. What's WOT, Joe? Something we were talking about, I'm sure. What? I don't think you need to worry about spoilers with Lost, because I'm going to be honest with you, nobody deserves to be put through that and find out that that's the ending anyway. It's best off to take them out back and put them down. But in all seriousness, like, can you imagine somebody who starts watching Lost? You'd have to tell them. But yeah, this movie Career Opportunities I think it was from 1990 or 1991. And it's a John Hughes movie, so I was like, I've got to watch it. I don't think I've watched Wheel of Time. Is it because everything's in Spanish for me at the moment. I don't read Spanish. Was Wheel of Time like a fantasy type thing? Because I'm thinking of stuff like Game of Thrones. I never watched stuff like that. Never. I don't like it. I used to love Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe when I was a kid, and The Hobbit. But as an adult, I can't stand them. I'll always try them if they're a game, because if it's a game, it's a bit different. For me, and I have no idea why. So, for example, I can't stand Harry Potter. Tried to watch a couple of films, can't stand it. Even though I like Chris Columbus, who's a really good director, just can't do it. And yet, I've got the game, Hogwarts Legacy, and I love it. In fact, this morning I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I bought a couple of years ago on sale, and I'm pushing myself to play like games that I've bought. And I started it, and I absolutely love it. I mean, I've always liked Ubisoft games, because yes, they are crappy in some ways, but the maps are always like beautiful, and so I love to play inside their worlds, because they create a beautiful world to play inside of. It's just the mechanics are always like you have to do the same over and over. But I think when they did Origins, Assassin's Creed Origins, which was set in Egypt, which was great, but I'm not one of these people who says a game's too long, but I think because of the Ubisoft gameplay loops and the game itself, it just ended up being too long. I think if I were to go back and play it again, I would probably leave the side content completely out, because I think you can still play the whole game without touching the side content, and it would probably make for a nicer experience. I think you can do a thing where you don't level either, where everything's just kind of open. And then they created Odyssey, which was like for me, it just felt like a part 2. I felt like ancient Greece and ancient Egypt were just kind of a bit too close in terms of colour and things like that. So I hated that one, and then I kind of decided not to play Valhalla because I just assumed it would be like the same as them. But I've started playing it and I like it. But again, it's got those gameplay loops, which, because they're the only company that I know that sell like skins for their single player mode. I know some other companies do it like as a pre-order, or you can buy a DLC pack that adds something, but this is actually skins like within the game. It feels like you're inside of a multiplayer game. I don't think we're going to find anything interesting here. I've just realised I've been scanning everything and realised I'm not going to find anything interesting. This is why you can never really watch anything after you've read the book either. You should always watch the thing, then read the book. Because I read the Jurassic Park book a few years later, and it... honestly, the movie doesn't live up to it anymore. And it was a great movie. And I'd probably watch it again, but the book was just way better. That was Michael Crichton. Yeah, well, I never got to play those early games because I didn't have the systems. But I played... the first one I played was, and I only played a little bit of it, was the one set in Paris. And this is what I mean. It was absolutely beautiful. No, actually, I think I played the other one, which was set during the Civil War in America. I can't remember which one came first. The one where you start off in England and then you sail over to the United States. That's actually really good, apart from... well, I don't want to make the spoilers, but there's a big story spoiler, big story jump. And I didn't appreciate that part because I was enjoying it so much in the first part of the game. So when the story makes that jump, I really didn't enjoy it. And I don't like it when the game pulled you out of the Animus either, and you had to do stuff in modern time. I hated that idea. But then they specifically, I really liked Syndicate because it's set in Victorian London, which is probably one of my favourite like periods in time for movies and well, anything. I'm a big Charles Dickens fan, and I think I lived there in a former life. Not that it would have been nice living there, but I'm pretty sure I must have, because I don't know why I'm so drawn to Victorian London, but I am. Everything. I can smell it sometimes as well, which is strange. Like, I can smell how it would have smelled. It's very strange. But so I've always kind of been pulled towards those things. So Syndicate I really, really enjoyed. But it had this thing where it was the first time when they were kind of gamifying add-ons. And so they made it really hard to make money, but you could buy money through the online store. Otherwise, you kind of had to wait in-game time, and there just wasn't enough story to keep you occupied during that in-game time while you were waiting for your money. So I understand for them it was probably just a tester and a test bed for what they wanted to do, which they brought over later in Origins. They've done a 60 FPS upgrade for it, which is absolutely fantastic because playing it in 60 FPS is really good as well. I've never got round to the add-ons though, which again I've got them, so they're there, and I am gonna have a stab at it at some point. I did play the more recent one, the Assassin's Creed Shadows. I did play that when I had Ubisoft Plus. And I will say unequivocally, without any... I don't love ninja stuff, but I don't hate anything when it comes to games. I always try. It's boring, number one. It has something which, I'm trying not to spoil anything, but it has something which is tantamount to repeat mission from another version of the game, which really annoyed me as well. Yeah, well, this is the thing, Elazgar, that you're talking about. When I say that Ubisoft build really good worlds, so for example, any of you who haven't played Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws, if you're a Star Wars fan, get it. Get it and don't listen to any of the reviews. Get it. Because I don't believe there has been any other Star Wars game, unless you're talking about Knights of the Old Republic. I don't think there's been any Star Wars game, actually, and Squadrons as well, Star Wars Squadrons, even though it's a hard game to play and it's very, like, it's designed to be played multiplayer and everything. Or is that Battlefront? No, I think it's Squadrons. The Star Wars Outlaws isn't, like, it isn't big, but it puts you in the Star Wars universe, and you are in the Star Wars universe. I wish there was a lot more to do in it. Like, I think they could have done more, but I think with it being the first iteration, and I don't think they're making another one, so it's kind of one of those games that's going to be lost in the ether. But don't think that it was a bad game, because it wasn't, and lots of people have discovered that now. But Ubisoft have cancelled it. There's people trying to do one of those things where you sign the petition, but you're not going to change the minds of people like Ubisoft once they've made their minds up, because they look at the money, and it didn't make enough money at launch. And if it doesn't matter how much money it makes later on, if it didn't make enough money at launch, they're not gonna persist with it. Because that's what money men do. Which game you on about there with Escape from Titan? I'm not sure which one that was. I can look it up, don't worry, I've got Google open in front of me. Escape from Titan DLC. Oh, see, I didn't even know what that was. It's an Assassin's Creed one, huh? Oh, was this for the Shadows thing? I didn't even know they'd done a DLC for it. Shows you how in touch with it I was. Oh, it was a crossover. Okay, yeah, because they love doing this as well, Ubisoft. So do Microsoft Flight Simulator, of all things. They added the Jurassic Park island. They can literally go around. It's probably actually very good, but very, very strange. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of crossover stuff like that. I don't think it does anything for your IP. Unless they truly can live in the same universe. But if they can't, then I don't think it does anything for your IP. But again, money people, they don't think like anybody else. It's why the gaming industry is in such a farcical state. And I'm thinking, even 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you used to have like a list of games that were coming out, whether they ended up being good or not. But there was like, you could you know, you could look at a list of games coming that you're like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, really looking forward to that. What game are you looking forward to right now? Truly. The only one I'm looking forward to is Grand Theft Auto, and that's what? 9 months away? And it just feels like none of them are trying because they're all scared to lose money. Wall Street's taken over all these companies, and I don't even, I'm going to be honest with you, with Grand Theft Auto, I think it's going to be decent. I think there's going to be things in it that are going to very much surprise people. So game mechanics. I think the game's going to be much bigger in scope than possibly any other game that's ever been released. But there's a reason for it, and it's to get you money. I think they want you living inside that world. I think they want to trap you inside of it and have you play in that world. And that could be amazing if it's done right, or it could be terrible if it's done wrong. And the thing is that most of the main crew of that game have left. The writers specifically, who, you know, the writers are a massively important part of GTA. GTA has always been satirical about American culture, whereas now we're living in a time where you're not allowed to be satirical because you get called out for it for being X, Y, and Z. So let's face it, one of the biggest, or the biggest media company on the planet are not going to risk anything. As much as they say they trust X, Y, they're not going to risk anything, and that's why I think it could end up being a dud if they give in to that, because being satirical is being satirical. Again, making fun of something is not wrong if it's intended to be funny. If you're not wanting to hurt somebody's feelings, or you're not wanting to attack somebody, you just want to make fun of it, it's a complete different kettle of fish. I used to actually solely only be in first-person games. Didn't like third-person games. I think Grand Theft Auto was one of the few games I played that was not first-person. It was actually, I heard some good news recently where they said they're gonna redo Ghost Recon, because Ghost Recon famously switched from, in the first iteration of it, OG Ghost Recon as I call it. Hang on a minute, I need to get my fleet carrier jumping again. I think I forgot about my poor old little fleet carrier. Where are we? No. Yeah, we do need to be in navigation, but we also need to know where we are and where we're going. Fleet carrier. It's got a few jumps to get here. Okay, so I can't jump to that one, so I must have got I must have messed up these bits. Yes, I did. Okay. Another 15-minute wait, but that's okay, because I'm going to try and play around in this area now a little bit, so at least for a short while. Oh, Joe, I've accidentally... Hang on, can I get it back? Oh, Joe, I accidentally deleted your message. Can you write that again? You said looking forward to Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy. Also, Rogue Trader was awesome. I'm so sorry, it was a complete accident there, Joe. I was trying to read it. I can add you as a mod. and see if you can bring it back. You might. I've added you as a mod, so you might be able to bring it back. I do apologise, Joe. Don't do stuff like that normally. Right. Right, so we'll just go down the D route then. Let's have a look. Right, we could do that one. Right. Right, we'll do it like that one. Okay, so where am I? We'll go here first. Doesn't have to be temporary, it can be permanent. I trust you. You've been around long enough. I trust you not to run away with your mod powers. He's going to ban Eledgar straight away. So where was I? I was talking about oh yeah, OG Ghost Recon, which was a really hardcore tactical shooter. Obviously, it was like 2000, so you know what was computer gaming back in 2000, but it was relentless because of the primitive kind of because of the kind of primitive time of gaming. It was kind of where graphics were more looked at over the gameplay mechanics, because you know it just wasn't as complicated, or maybe not. They weren't able to do as much as they can now. So they built this military shooter, first-person military shooter, but it was the most unforgiving game ever. I don't even know if there has been other games that are as forgiving. Or unforgiving, sorry. Obviously, there's a couple of names that jump to mind, but it for its time, like, just ridiculously unforgiving. But also, like, so for example, if you were in camouflage, because obviously back then it couldn't really tell, it would make it so the enemy couldn't see you, because it was the only option they had. There was no like half camouflage, half not camouflage. So the game taught you to like literally move bush to bush, because if you were caught out in the open and the enemy saw you, 9 times out of 10 it was a dead shot. Like, the enemy was just ruthless. So missions could take hours, but you could play it solo or you could play it with friends, multiplayer online, which, you know, you didn't have dropouts and stuff because it was so simple. And I got into a clan, and actually one mission we did, and it was my first like big mission, like competition mission, where it was players versus computer. It wasn't players versus other players, but people would take the map and mod it, and they would like make it so difficult to get around the map. You know, in the single player mode, you'd always find a way around the enemy. They would have patrols which would go way further than the average enemy when in the base game would go. They would cover areas where they knew you were going to hide. It was just you really had to be alive, pardon the pun, when you were playing it. And there was one mission where my whole clan got wiped out, and I literally went down in like Rambo style blaze of glory, because I don't know how to this day, but I was avoiding being shot by the enemy. Well, I got shot in both legs, both arms, so I couldn't shoot anymore. You couldn't move fast because it was simulating, as much as you could simulate, you crawling. And I've still said there's no game which has come close to that, and they kind of butchered it when they took Ghost Recon into third-person perspective, and tried to make it too futuristic. I think there's a place for all that. Oh, this has been mapped and everything. I think there's a place for all of that, but I just don't think Ghost Recon was the place for it. And they've said they're going back to its roots, which I don't know how truthful that is, because of course I don't know if people could spend an hour completing a mission in this day and age, or an hour and a half or whatever. That game was just so unforgiving. It really was. But it had massive modding ability. The modding community was huge. You couldn't run out of missions or maps. It was impossible. Even recently I went back and looked at the mod materials still available for it, and there's like gigabytes worth. Gigabytes and gigabytes. People even made their own fully from scratch mods for it. So like the maps were new, the buildings were new. Somebody even ported over Counter-Strike maps into it. I think it was Counter-Strike maps. You'll have to forgive me because I don't play those games as much. I didn't play those games, sorry. I remember somebody brought over, there was a game called Sum of All Fears, which was basically in the same engine. It was made for the movie, if you remember that really weird Ben Affleck movie, because it was a Tom Clancy story. And somebody ported over all the maps from that into the game. You had to own it. That was a good thing that they did. They did like a bat file that you had to own the game to get it to copy the assets over. And they'd made their own missions inside of that. Just really, really cool. Really, really cool. One of the best modding communities I've ever been a part of. I even made my own missions because it had a mission editor that came with the game. And, you know, to make your own missions, which they were a little bit difficult, but it wasn't super difficult to do. It was a bit difficult for me because I didn't have any programming skills, but you didn't really need that much programming skills. You just needed to know kind of how games worked. It's crazy how I hit that great system first time, and then since then I haven't, but I'm not using my formula yet, and I haven't actually got my formula in front of me that I was working on for finding systems. Now when I say finding systems, it wasn't that I'm looking for stratum or anything in particular. It was that I was wanting a system with lots of organics in them, and so I've been through a lot of data of systems that have organics in them, and then along with some tips from some YouTube channels about how to use the galaxy map and whatnot, I've kind of formulated an idea of what I want to do. So it doesn't mean that I'm going to hit organics all the time. It just means that I'll have more chance of hitting a lot of organics when I do hit. So it means that although I'll be spending a lot of time on the planet, I'm not flying around and finding one, because that's kind of what I want to avoid. Because if there's any kind of complaint I have about the current system, it's that you sometimes spend time going to the planets and scanning them, and it's just a complete waste of time. You know, you do get a brief thing that says 1 organic, 2 organics, 3 organics, or whatever. but when you get there and it's just all like trash stuff, kind of look at it as in inside. Ooh, hang on, what have we got here? Because this is a... Okay, so this is definitely a planet I would aim for 4 biologicals. So we'll see exactly what it has. See if we're lucky enough to get any others around this sun. 5 biologicals in that one. Okay, we've got some interesting... well, 3 biologicals in this. Wow. Okay, I think we've got our work cut out here. But this is exactly kind of what I wanted. 4 biologicals in this. Wow. Six biologicals in this one. Jeez Louise. I still haven't finished the system yet. That is crazy. I don't know which one I was going to start at, but I'll mark that one. So this is exactly what I was talking about, but I haven't looked at the system name. Okay, so it is part of the formula that I'm looking at, but actually it's not the exact one. But I'll be taking notes because I'm still learning. And when you're still learning, there's things you overlook. So this is definitely a major hit of a system. But I need to look at the sun and everything, see what type of sun it is that those biologicals are spinning around, because one of the specific suns. So, and then I'm going to keep a log of all that and try and use the information to hone it down a little bit. But the game is, you know, you don't know behind the RNG. You can do all the right things, but then behind the RNG, you don't know if Frontier have put time limits as to how often you can come across something. Oh, another one with biologicals. Wow. Do you know what? Is this a record of... I read somebody once saying 13 different planets with biologicals that come across. I don't know how many are in this one. I don't think it's 13 yet, but I think it might be like around 8 or something. There's so many planets in it, but I tend to scan them all. For the simple reason as an explorer. Oh, another one. Another one with 6 on it. I think also now with like the SCO overcharge and stuff, I think in systems that are undiscovered, so that nobody's done it before, then all the Earth-like worlds have to be scanned and mapped. But if somebody else has already done it, then I'm not interested necessarily in doing the mapping, because I think it's a bit of a pointless, even though you get money, it's kind of a pointless thing to be doing if you're supposed to be discovering things. This is tiring. Oh, thank God that's the last gas giant. If there's one thing I hate in this game, it's gas giants. I've come to absolutely hate them. One, because they're hit and miss of what they have, so sometimes you hit mother loads with them, sometimes it's just absolute rock planets everywhere. Okay, and it's probably a geological, maybe. Yeah. So right, let me just have a look at my observatory. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6? Felt like a lot more than 6 planets that I've... Really? I thought it was like up to 8 or something. Maybe I just got too excited. It's still, there's a lot of money here to be scanned. A lot of stuff. So the first one is 10F is the closest. So let's have a look. 10F. 10F, there we go. Again, SEO overdrive makes this just, you know, you're not traveling these huge distances anymore. Doing the loop of Shane now is not so much of a shame. I think that's my carrier jumped, so if it is, come on. Come on. Because you're not losing the amount of time that you used to lose. So if that's my carrier jump, what time was that? Doesn't say. Right, I'll at least set up the next system for the jump, and then I'll do it once I'm on the ground. Now normally I'll position myself on the light side of the planet. When I'm scanning it, sometimes actually it's half and half. Because I like to see whether there are any, you know, some of these planets you find that there's not a lot of blue on them. So I've got night vision, and if necessary I'll go on the dark side of the planet, but I don't really want to. Sometimes I'll go on the cusp so that I can get maybe those morning shots or whatever, you know, as the sun's rising, but in general I'll just stick to the light side if possible, just because that's what you would do. It's also probably colder on there, a bit more dangerous. Right, so we've got bacterium, cactoida, osseous. Oh, that's good. Stratum. It won't be stratum tectonicus though. I think when there's osseous, I don't think you get stratum tectonicus. But it can prove me wrong. Fruitessia's one of the worst. You see, it's more prevalent on the dark side, like I was saying. But that's not normal for Fruitessia, I don't think. Tussocks everywhere. So I think we'll start with the Fruitessia, because a lot of the other stuff is planet-wide. We shall have a quick look at my... So this should be... There's no high value stuff here. The highest value is the stratum, which is Laminamus, which I don't think I've ever got before. There's 2 types of stratum, it's saying on the planet, which I didn't know you can have that. Unfortunately, the value things that could have been on the planet aren't on it, which doesn't mean it's definitely going to be the same on other planets, but normally it's an idea. If they're especially if they're going around the same sun, you'll normally find that they have pretty much the same thing on them, give or take. So we'll see if we can't find a decent landing spot here. I'm kind of seeing a few bits where it looks like it could pop in. But you have to wait until till it changes, because it doesn't always give a great representation. Yeah, there's maybe a patch over here. Oh, I've just seen a really good patch there. There we go. We'll head down here because this looks like a decent patch of it here. I hate it when you go into normal mode because like the planet looks very different, and certain things that you kind of had an idea of where you were going to land, you can't land anymore. But it was kind of right down here where we were looking at it. So we can see stratum straight off the bat here. Got a bit of lag, but I'm guessing that's... The computer might be getting a bit tired now. Elite gets tired very quickly. Maybe 3 or 4 hours and it really starts acting up. It's a bloody nightmare in that sense. This wasn't what I was aiming at, I don't think. What was I aiming at? It was Fruitessia, wasn't it, I was aiming at? But it might be one of those that pops in... It looked like a really good spot for it. Oh, there you go. It's right here. Oh no, this is Tussock, isn't it? I think this is Tussock. Fruitessia normally has like a... Yeah, this is Tussock. Fruitessia normally has like a fruit on it, actually. Like, it normally has like seeds or a fruit on it. There's a lot of fucking tussock. I'm gonna have a look to make sure it hasn't jumped up on the rocks. Because this really did look like a good spot for it. So we've got stratum. Plenty of stratum. Tussocks. I think Tussock's like 200 meters or something, so don't even have to go far for the tussock. And if needs be, we'll grab the others. The Fruitessia, like, I really don't like the graphical glitch in here that I'm seeing. I think Fruitessia actually grows on more rocky areas, so I might have chosen the wrong place to come down and have a look. And I know that there's a couple of things there where you get false positives on the map, because apparently, I can't remember where I read it now, whether it was Discord or on Frontiers forums, somebody was saying it should appear there, but because of the rocks and stuff, it actually doesn't show up properly. And so if the area is not rocky enough, if there's like actually like a mixture, that it just doesn't show up. But they weren't just talking about Fruitessia, but I know Fruitessia was one of them, and then can't remember the one that grows on rocks, but it's like a, I think it's a fungoida, and it's very long with a round head, and it's red normally, or orange red. That one's a nightmare apparently, because it all depends on the makeup of the planet. So there's planets which say it's there and you land and you can't find it anywhere, and then when you can find it, it's difficult to land. Right, there should be plenty. There's plenty of space for the tussock. Plenty of space for tussock, but now it seems to have run out. This is the other thing that this bloody game does and the map does, is that I can see some in the distance, but I didn't really want to go there because I've kind of been in that area, so... It did fly. Ah, is that some there? That might be some. Yeah, that's some. Should have got out in the car, shouldn't I? Could have gone for a Sunday drive. Right, I think we'll go for Stratum next because there's a piece of it right here. But I think Stratum has the longest distance, or one of the longest distances. Is it 800 or so? Or is it different on each stratum? Lost the ship? Oh, okay, it's over there. So 800 meters to the ship. So if I get maybe 500-600 meters over here and try it, I think most are like 150. I think it doubles. So I think it's like 153. Well, it wouldn't double because there's a 6 as well, and then it goes to 8, but we'll try. I can hear some of you going, he's talking out of his arse again. That might be just about long enough. I don't mind the current way. It's just it's broken in some sense. I think it's quite hard to. So I definitely think that they should have had. Oh, bastard! All right, we'll get that one because that one's green. So, and if we get the one that was near the ship, we'll get the 2, and then I might take off for the discus one, because I think that, not the discus, the osseous, I think that one's quite big. I think the way of locating them is actually okay, but like I said, I think there's been issues. It's a Frontier thing. When there's an issue with something and they just decide not to do it. So one of the fix it, sorry. So one of my biggest issues is the UI problem on the fleet carriers, which is a well-known issue. It's been an issue since fleet carriers first came out. For some reason it's unfixable, and Frontier just ignore it. So if you put a ticket in about it, it says it's a known issue that they're looking at. They're not looking at it because it's unfixable. Somebody messed up in the programming. Maybe that person left the company and they're not sure exactly what they did. Maybe they can't do it without breaking the game. I don't know what it is, but they've completely and utterly messed up the fleet carrier. So I've got stuff on my fleet carrier that I needed for my own suit the other day, and I was like, oh, I've got them on the fleet carrier, I'll go get them. when I went and tried to transfer them back over, they won't transfer. Now, somewhere in the UI, there is another thing that if I select that to transfer over, I might have got what I wanted. But it's a you have to like really play around with it to find it. And you know, when you take the mathematics of how many things you've got on the fleet carrier, if you sell them like I do, like how long it would take. So I'll grab this one because it's very close by. You always grab the closest thing. So I'd probably be there for hours trying to work it out. I mean, it's just, and you know, it's my stuff. I've put my time and effort into getting it, and it's not been fixed, like, or not fixable. I think this one is 800, this one, you know. That's Tussock. It is a nice ship, even though they kind of stole the idea from Star Trek. It's okay. Star Trek don't have the license on a round ship, but it does feel more like an exploration ship. The only thing I don't like is these bars, and now I'm not going to be able to get up at it, are you? These bars here. Now, all of the ships kind of have a bar like this. Right? And I'm not sure if it's from an engineering standpoint they've put them in, whether it's something to do with your eye level and it helps with certain things. But an explorer ship should not have any of these on it. This should just be one big glass cockpit that you sit in and you have a full view. These side bits, this should all be glass right the way around here. You should have full vision on left and right where it's glass. So I don't know why but they do it on all the ships. There's always this clunky big bar in the middle of somewhere, and it just feels like it must be something they have to do. Because an explorer ship, you would want as much visibility as possible. Right, people, I'm going to look for the last 2 bits of this, and then I think I'm going to call it a night on the stream. As I was saying before, I'll probably be back in a few weeks. When my other thing goes live, I'll show that, but also when I'm... Oh, there's bacteria there. When I give an update of the exploration as well, because I do want to do that. 1 second. Now it's all disappeared. Right, there's one over there, but he's right like in the rocks. But I think it's probably my best choice. I think this one's probably my best choice, and I'm not going to get this landed anywhere else. So this is probably just a... I'm going to have to get used to this sometimes, trekking out. Again, this whole ship landing, taking off, you know, taking off, landing, it's good for the early gameplay route when you want to make some money, but you know, it doesn't exactly do exploration if you're just taking off in your ship and landing, scanning, taking off again. Like I said, when you're doing the Stratum hunt, you're just trying to make some money, it's great, but I've got the SRVs and stuff, although sadly I don't think I got the Scarab on this ship. But what I might actually do is swap it out with my Mandalay. Yeah, it was nice seeing you as well, Joe, even though your name came in as something different at the beginning. But yeah, it won't be 9 months this time. Like I said before, I've had some pretty not so good times, but things are definitely changing. I know I've kind of said that before, but they are. I'm doing more checklists and things, not putting pressure on myself, but doing things that I know where I ask myself the question more now of, is this making me happy? Is this making me sad? If it's making me sad, I'm going to stop doing it. If it's making me happy, I'm going to do it more. Not worrying too much about needing to do other stuff. Which is why I said this idea for this new thing that I've got is it's been percolating for a long time. And normally I'd rush to do it, but there's part of me just saying, hey, you'll fathom it out. You don't need to rush anything. You haven't got an audience waiting for it. You're not, you know, this isn't paying your bills. It's a creative endeavour, so just enjoy that creative part of it. And like I said, going back and watching some of those 80s movies, like the really silly ones as well, I've just really enjoyed it. I'm not normally, I like funny stuff, but like silliness, it depends the type of silliness. So like you think of a movie like, oh, didn't even mention it, one of my favourite comedies actually of the 80s was Three Amigos. Silliness like that I can do that. But things like Megaforce, I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie. I would normally be like, even like Buckaroo Banzai, you know, I'd kind of be like, oh, it's a bit too silly and a bit too weird. All that, no, I don't care. I don't care. In fact, sometimes I'm starting to think the sillier the better, because it's, again, I'm trying to look into the actor or the director's vision and dream of what they wanted. Oh, there you go. There's one here with a lot of flat land. I've been doing the same with music as well. Like I said, not just even 80s music. Actually, there's a couple of like groups and stuff that I've got more into recently where it's because I'm trying to just listen to something that I would not normally listen to and try and see what they're trying to tell you or what they're trying to say with their music. So there we go. So I have, 3 different things now. I'm going to have a quick look at what I'm looking for on this planet, but I'll continue it off stream. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so I'm still looking for that Frutetia, bacterium, which I've actually seen the bacterium, so I might just have a quick buzz around, but it's only worth a couple of million, so it's not the best anyway. Missed anything else? And there's a cactoida as well. Trying to wonder where that cactoida might be. I think that's going to be one that's on some rocky land, I bet. And oh, it doesn't tell you what the surface material is. There's some surface materials for collecting in some of these planets as well, so I need to look into all that as well. I've been, you know, I look sometimes over on my inventory and I'm like, right, I've got antimony, I've got arsenic, but these things kind of, I need more because they're used in, antimony is used in munitions, so I don't really need that. But which one is used for FSD injection? So, for example, arsenic, I need more of that. Oh, actually, I'm nearly full on that one. But you get me. Like, I've got to make sure that I keep full of those things because, you know, FSD injection is important sometimes. Yeah, won't get rid of any of that stuff because I locked the bloody thing out. But I'll keep it till I get to Colonia. I'm sure there's some people in Colonia who want to buy it. And I'll say thank you for joining in, Joe, Edgar, and anybody else who's been watching on the side. I still feel you can like and subscribe, even if I won't be, you know, producing a lot. You never know when there'll be a video, and, you know, just keep an eye out for it. Okay, so I will say 9-7 and enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and Happy New Year, Happy 2026.